AI minds, quantum leaps. Cut the noise, dive deep. Truth unlocked, Dr. Mike on the mic. Tech Unfiltered is on the clock. Now it's time for the show.
You send your resume into a job portal, hit submit, and then hear nothing. The usual question is whether artificial intelligence will take your job. Today, there is a more immediate question. Did an automated system quietly decide whether you were allowed to compete for the job at all? That question is moving into courtrooms. The Guardian reported today on lawsuits testing how employment, discrimination, privacy, and consumer reporting law apply when software screens, scores, or ranks people. The central example is Erin Kistler, a product manager who says she applied for thousands of jobs over 4 years without receiving an interview. Before we go further, 3 categories need to stay separate. First, there is what a software company says its product is designed to do. Second, there is what a plaintiff alleges happened. Third, there is what a court has actually decided. An allegation is not a finding, and allowing a case to proceed is not a verdict. Automated hiring is not one single technology. A basic system might filter for a required license or location. More advanced tools can extract information from a resume, infer skills, compare a person with a job description, assign a score, rank applications, conduct a text or voice interview, or recommend who moves forward. An employer may still say that a human made the final decision. That can be true while missing an important point. If software decided which applications the human saw first or which candidates entered the final pool, the software already influenced the opportunity. Think about the difference between recommendation and access. A recruiter may technically remain free to choose anyone, but that freedom means little if a ranking system places a qualified applicant so far down the list that no one opens the file. The software did not issue the rejection, yet it shaped the conditions under which the human acted. That is why regulators and courts are looking not only at the final click, but also at the screening, scoring, and ordering that happened earlier. Eightfold AI markets a talent intelligence platform that helps employers match and prioritize candidates using career information. The proposed class action alleges that Eightfold assembled and used an undisclosed applicant dossier to score job seekers for employers without disclosure and dispute rights that could apply to certain consumer reports. In plain language, the plaintiffs are arguing that a hidden report may have influenced employment opportunities without giving applicants a chance to see or correct it. That is an allegation, not an established fact. Eightfold told The Guardian that it believes the claims lack merit and that it will defend itself vigorously. The broader legal picture includes other disputes. One lawsuit alleges that an internal Meta system identified workers for layoffs in a way that penalized people who had taken medical or parental leave. Meta did not comment to The Guardian. Another lawsuit alleges age discrimination involving IBM and automated employment tools. IBM denied using AI to automatically screen candidates out and said it does not tolerate discrimination. The Workday litigation has moved further. Reuters reported in June that a federal judge allowed California claims to continue in a case alleging that Workday's screening systems discriminated against older, Black, disabled, and female applicants. The ruling does not prove those claims. It means the case cleared a legal threshold and can continue toward evidence gathering and further review. How can unequal results appear without an openly discriminatory rule? A system does not need a line saying, reject older applicants. It can learn patterns from historical hiring decisions, performance ratings, resume language, employment gaps, locations, or schools. Those variables may correlate with protected characteristics. A speech analysis system may work differently across accents or disabilities. A penalty for an employment gap may fall hardest on people who took time away for caregiving or medical treatment. The problem can also scale. A biased human manager can harm applicants in one workplace. A widely used model can repeat a similar mistake across many employers. Researchers call this an algorithmic monoculture. Different organizations may rely on similar data, models, benchmarks, or assumptions. Applicants may believe they are approaching many independent employers while encountering variations of the same screening logic. Performance can also change when a tool moves from one setting to another. A model tested on one employer's historical workforce may behave differently for another employer, another occupation, or another region. An overall accuracy number can hide unequal error rates for smaller groups. Responsible evaluation, therefore, has to examine the population and decision where the tool is actually used, not simply accept a vendor's general benchmark. None of this means that an unexplained rejection proves AI discrimination. Hiring was opaque long before modern AIs, and one opening may attract hundreds of qualified applicants. Employers use many automated filters and human judgments. It can also be difficult to determine whether a tool rejected someone, merely changed the order in which applications appeared, or offered advice that a recruiter followed. Those distinctions matter. The legal question is therefore broader than average model accuracy. Courts and regulators may ask several separate questions. Did applicants receive notice? Can errors be inspected and corrected? Could a disabled applicant request an accommodation? Did the software create an employment-related consumer report? Who is responsible when a vendor's recommendation contributes to discrimination? New York City provides a concrete regulatory example. Under Local Law 144, an employer or employment agency may not use a covered automated employment decision tool for hiring or promotion unless the tool received a bias audit within the prior year, information about that audit is publicly available, and required notices are given to candidates or employees. The law is limited, but its structure is important. Audit the system, publish information, and notify the person being evaluated. A bias audit is not a certificate that a system is fair in every circumstance. Its value depends on the data, the groups examined, the decision measured, and whether the employer changes anything after finding a problem. Notice also matters because a person cannot ask a useful question, challenge an error, or request an accommodation for a process they do not know exists. The emerging goal is not perfect automation. It is a process that can be inspected and corrected. For job seekers, there are 3 practical takeaways. First, look for notices in the job portal, privacy policy, assessment invitation, and employer disclosures. Save the posting, application confirmation, assessment instructions, accommodation requests, and rejection message. A dated record is more useful than trying to reconstruct the process months later. Second, do not try to trick the system with deceptive keyword stuffing or hidden text. Clear formatting, accurate dates, explicit skills, and language relevant to the role can reduce parsing errors. They cannot guarantee a fair ranking. If you need a disability accommodation, request it through the employer's stated process rather than assuming an automated assessment will adapt on its own. Third, employers should be able to answer basic questions before using these tools. What decision does the system influence? What data does it use? Who can inspect errors? How are accommodations handled? Has the tool been tested for unequal outcomes among the people who will actually encounter it? Can a person override the recommendation? What notice, retention, and appeal rules apply? A human signature at the end of the process does not automatically neutralize a biased ranking at the beginning. At the same time, every rejection is not algorithmic discrimination, and a computer is not automatically neutral. Here is my forecast, clearly labeled as a forecast rather than a reported fact. Litigation pressure will probably push employers toward more disclosure, better audits, and meaningful human review before the courts deliver final answers. Hidden systems that shape access to opportunity need evidence, transparency, and accountable human control. Read the notices, save the paperwork, and keep your resume honest and clear. Questions, comments, concerns, bribes? I'll see you in the next one.